Hi Dale, this is Jim Gillis with Win My Vote. Sorry I don't have my camera on. I'm not in the office right now, so the background's just not suited for it. But I wanted to show you this real quickly. And again, this is kind of the beta site. We're going to be having a new release, a new upgrade very soon, which is going to have all of the same features. So if you create a group page and you upload issue statements and those types of things, they'll all be the same. We're just going to be doing the front end a little bit differently, and then also adding additional features that you'll see. But the way it works is that groups and organizations are free. If you want to sign up, you just click on groups, you create a group page, and then you make endorsements. And I'll show you how that kind of looks through my ballot. So I'll use the 2016 presidential ballot. So the site is ultimately designed for the voter, because one of the big issues with getting money out of politics is that voters are not in one place. They're all over the place, and that's why money rules politics, because you have to spread the money around so wide between TV and radio and online ads and lawn signs and mailers and robocalls, etc., trying to get the people while they're doing other things. So the idea behind the site is to let's get all of the voters into the same place so that groups and organizations and candidates can speak directly to the voter and do it while they're on their ballot, right? While they're looking at the candidates that they need to vote for and the propositions and the measures that they need to vote on. So I'm a voter, and here's my ballot, so I can scroll up and down my ballot and look at all the candidates in all the races. I can click on a candidate profile, and I can learn a little bit more about the candidate. And again, the candidate profile will be changing as well, and I'll have a little bit easier to identify the exact issue statements on where the candidate stands. But here I can learn a little bit about the candidate, but I can see the featured endorsements. I can see the endorsements that are my trusted sources, right? These are the groups and organizations that I want to know who they're endorsing. So I can see those here. I can scroll through them. I can, let's say if I follow Ethan Behrman, he's a radio talk show host and I really like him, and I want to hear what he has to say about this candidate. I can click on it.
Saturday, October 8th, 2016. I don't do Saturday videos, but today I have to let you know for whom I'm going to vote on November 8th, 2016. If on my ballot Donald Trump is representing the Republican Party, I will be voting for Hillary Clinton to become the next president of the United States.
And then with that, I can say, what, I always like Ethan, so I can agree with him, or I can go, and agree with him, I mean, I can, click here, and that favorites the candidate. And then when I go back to my ballot, she is now, in first place. The nameplate turns green, so I can easily see it on my cell phone or a tablet. And then I can move on to, the next race and the next race. I can also do this with propositions. So here in San Francisco, California, in 2016, we had to vote on about 40 of these propositions and measures. So you can see here, we had 14, 15, 16, 17 propositions, and then we had 26 measures. So, it was crazy to have to go through all of those and then make educated choices on them. So with this, I can click on the proposition. I can read about the proposition. I can go down here, read the language of the proposition. I can also see a little 1-minute video explainer. We partnered with a local television group to do these, and they were great.
Prop 55 in 1 minute. Taxes for education. 4 years ago, a tax on the wealthy was passed to help fund education.
And we'll be doing other partnerships with similar, non-partisan companies and groups, and we even hire a couple of groups and organizations to do some as well. But they all start as undecided here, and then now I can look at groups and organizations here that are supporting this proposition and groups and organizations that are opposing it. And again, I'll use Ethan Behrman as an example. So I want to see what he has to say about this. He's voting no.
When does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed Proposition 30 back in 2012. Board of Education and a district board of education. All other states have two: state level, district level. I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
Okay, so he says no on Prop 55. And then let's see what the California Teachers Association says.
It wasn't that long ago. Years of devastating cutbacks to our schools. 30,000 teachers laid off. Class sizes increased. Art and music programs cut. We can't ever go back.
So vote yes on Proposition 55.
Prop 55 prevents $4 billion in new cuts to our schools, simply by maintaining the current tax rate on the wealthiest Californians.
No new education cuts and no new taxes.
So you can see they both make good arguments, and this is where the trusted sources, I think, become so important for the voter. So now I'm going to be looking at, other groups and organizations, other people that I trust, to weigh in on this. And with that, I'll then, let's say I choose no on that, and when I go back to my ballot, you can see here that, it's nice and prominent that it's a no. I can also see that 13% are in favor, 7% are voting no, and 80% are still undecided. Now, those exact numbers don't make that much sense because this is the one of the propositions that we used for the national student parent mock election. So a lot of kids in certain districts didn't get to vote on that, and only a couple that did, and that just had to do with how they wanted to set up their mock election. So, moving forward, you'll see much, better numbers. Although, that said, you'll see numbers like this early on, and then hopefully towards the end, you won't see an 80% undecided. Now, with that, that'll tell the groups and organizations that are supporting it or opposing it, that there's a lot of room in there. There's a lot of voters that are still undecided, and that gives them some good feedback. Essentially, Win My Vote is the platform where you can sort of do everything politics or everything voting, so that you can, get out your message, you can see how it resonates, you can see how people are voting, you can have an open dialogue right on a ballot about Proposition 55. One of the problems that we saw before we built this was that in social media, people were arguing about issues and topics that weren't really connected to propositions. They may have shared the same name or the same topic, but the proposition was completely different. And people had this mind, yeah, of course I want clean water for kids. And then they would go into the voting booth and they would see a proposition that said, clean water for kids. And in California, there's lots of groups and organizations that have manipulated this whole, proposition and measure channel, to get things passed. And there's a lot of problems with them. They can name the proposition anything they want, and then they can put any language in there and sneak things through. So again, this is a way of being able to hear what the groups and organizations that you trust have to say about the propositions or candidates, right when you're making the choice about that candidate or proposition. I'll show you a group page real quickly. Sorry about all the other stuff there. I know that's what you wanted that's the most important to you. Let's see. I usually like using the AFL-CIO. Okay, so we'll use their page. So this is what a group page looks like. And again, it's going to look a little different, coming up, but this is basically how it looks, right? You have your, your logo, and these are really easy to create. You just click on the edit button that hovers over the item that you want to change, and you just change the picture. You choose a picture you want. Same thing with the name, web address, volunteer. We suggest just putting URLs in here. So for example, that would just be the URL right back to the page. So if someone wants to send you a message or volunteer or donate, they just go right to your page and they can do that. We also have donations set up through a company called Stripe. If you don't have a regular donation page, we can set one up for you. They take, I think, 5 or 6% of all, of the money collected. So if someone donates $100, you get, 95 or 96 or 94 or something like that. I have to check on what their latest percentage is. But you can have some issue statements here. Again, to do that, you just title it whatever you want. You go down here, you can choose image or video. You need to have one of those. For the video, we use the URL share, the YouTube URL share, the share URL. So if you're on YouTube, you simply click share, it'll give you a URL, you do a cut and paste, and you just put it right in there, and then it will play, right here for the user. So if I wanted to, I could just click right here and then listen to the video.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member DeFazio, members of the committee. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. This committee is known for working together and setting aside partisan differences.
This is a really good one too. But anyway, I won't bore you with a long one. I didn't think it was going to go this long anyway. But then as far as making endorsements, you create your page and then you click on Make Endorsements. And let's say you want to endorse Gavin Newsom in California. You pick the state, and then here you just start typing in his name, and you'll see Gavin Newsom come up, and you'll click on his star. It'll say, do you want to do a written or a video endorsement? You can click Yep, and then you can do the YouTube, the share URL in here, or you can do a written endorsement here, and you can use different formats and make it bold or italics or different colors. You can insert links, you can embed images or even videos in here, and then that will play like the ones I showed you earlier. You can also just favorite him and that's it, and then you don't have to do a written or a video one either. But then on my ballot, I'll see your group, and in this case the AFL-CIO has endorsed Gavin Newsom, and I'll say great, and then I'll vote for that. Again, this will be a little bit different as well. The way that we're going to do it is that we're going to have, sorry about that. The way that we're going to do it is we're going to have the ballot of the AFL-CIO all filled out. So it'll look much different than this, because right now they're just kind of showing you the different people that the AFL-CIO has endorsed. The new version will actually look like a ballot. So you'll click on it and you'll see the San Francisco, California ballot, or the New York City, New York ballot, or the Dallas, Texas ballot, or whatever you want, and then you'll see all of their endorsements on that, which will look a lot nicer, and you'll be able, as a voter, you'll be able to go through it much quicker. And then we also have some features scheduled to come out where you can just click on that person. So for example, in this situation, you would just click on a star here and it would favorite Gavin on your ballot. So anyway, like I said, lots of things happening. We'd love to see you get up on there and start using it and give us feedback. And as we roll out additional features, we will make sure we take care of our early adopters and our first group of people, and you'll be grandfathered in. We do have plans for paid features when it comes to groups and organizations, probably down the road. We're thinking maybe not this first year, but you never know, towards the end of this year, or I'm sorry, the end of 2018, there may be some internal polling that groups can do and internal primaries that groups can do that will be paid features, but we're not certain yet. Anyway, thanks a lot. I hope this helped. Bye-bye.